What's going on, friends? Bigger Than 12 weekly soccer show, bringing it to you in a smaller format because, listen, it's playoff time. Only the best have survived out of the Big 12. And listen, the best went head-to-head with the best from other conferences. Moment of silence if your team did not make it this far, but a few of us will be celebrating because our teams are in the next round. Here's how it broke down. Mostly things went chalk, although there was one upset that went the Big 12's way, one that did not. When you look at things that probably by seeding should have gone to the Big 12, BYU out there in Utah getting upset by upstart Santa Clara, and they're not really upstarts. They were unranked, but that is a team with a lot, and I mean a lot, of women's soccer history. They have really made it far, especially as a mid-major. That is the sort of team that you expect to see every single year. Very much a giant killer, and honestly, they're used to being the Giants. So a surprise in terms of seeding, but BYU knew they had their hands full, weren't quite able to get it done. Then on the other side of things, well, we were able to pick up a Big 12 upset. Colorado, unseeded, they went out to the Peach State across the country and were able to knock off the Bulldogs of Georgia. They're unseeded, but they are headed out to North Carolina. They will continue their southeastern stay, and they'll head out to Wake Forest. That is another juggernaut in this tournament. Two-seeded, it'll be a tough ask, but they have been defying expectations all year long. Remember, back earlier on in the earlier part of the Big 12 slate, they were one of the better teams in the country, clocking in the top 15 for a while there. Other games of note, Texas Tech was able to knock off LSU, maintain their 8th seed. They are headed to Duke. That is maybe the most difficult draw of the second round. St. Louis was able to knock off Kansas. The Jayhawks had a magical run just making it here, but they couldn't get past the Billikens. SLU is headed to Southern California. USC will host them. Looking at some other results around Big 12 teams, Oklahoma State headed to Arkansas, a nearby neighboring state showdown. Were not able to take down the Razorbacks. Arkansas came to play. They beat the Cowgirls 4-0. That ends a solid season for OSU, where they find their way back to the tournament for the first time in a few years. Felt like they've been in and around the conversation, finally made their way back in the tourney. First round was as far as they could go. West Virginia, perennial power, were not quite at their same level of dominance this year, and a tough Big 12 slate had something to do with that. But one of the 7 teams in the Big 12 who made it, one of the 4 who were knocked out at the first hurdle. Kentucky, number 5 seed, knocked them out. They're headed to Notre Dame as a result. And then a 5 seed of our own, TCU, they were able to get past Stephen F. Austin, one of the easier draws, especially for a 5 seed in the first round. Their geography helped them out a little bit. No such luck in the second round. They're headed to 4th-ranked Penn State. That is a long piece of travel for them, and man, those Nittany Lions can really play. That 4-5 matchup, for me, one of the best second-round games across the entirety of the bracket. Winners from here are going to be headed on to the Sweet 16, and they will be having visions in their head of heading out to Cary, North Carolina for the Final Four. And who knows once you make it there. TCU. Well, we all remember this picture, how the regular season standings ended up, don't we? So keep an eye on those 5-seeded Horned Frogs. They can get past the Nittany Lions. They will most likely face number 1 Florida State in that side of the bracket, but it could be a chance to host Vanderbilt if the Commodores are able to knock off the top seed in that lower left quadrant. Well, you're all set up for the second round. Good luck to your team if they're still around in the Big 12, and we'll see if they can keep carrying our conference's flag a little while longer. See you guys after this round, right here on Bigger Than 12.